Hi everyone, it's Becky here. Welcome to another new video on my YouTube channel. And today I am around Main Street SkyTrain station walking to Downtown Eastside. It's about 10 to 15 minutes walk from the SkyTrain station. Here I'm outside Hunnybee. So I found this place on Google Map, which has a pretty high rating. There's a really cute napping husky here. And I'm walking in. Ooh, it's full of people. That's a lot of tomatoes there on the counter. The interior is very cozy and inviting. So I ordered a cup of black tea, and the way they serve it is really cute. I love the little creamer jar and the little teapot. So while waiting for my brunch to arrive, I'm gonna sketch my tea set. Alright, so I'm gonna begin to sketch the little yellow teacup on top of the teapot. So is an upside down shape and is in between a cylinder and a cone. Now I'm drawing the mouthpiece and the opening of the teapot underneath the cup, the rim, and trying to suggest the thickness of the little cup handle, adding a bit of accentuation to suggest shade. Now I'm drawing this black ring underneath the brim of the teapot. So it's kind of like a band wrapping around the roundness of a cylindrical shape. And the plastic handle of the teapot, the slanting two sides, and the round bottom of the little teapot, drawing the liquid line there. Alright, so now I'm ready to draw the little creamer jar. The opening is like a short little cylinder. The body part is like a cone. And drawing this tiny little spoon for scooping the sugar. The rim of the little creamer jar. So when you're drawing items such as little cups, pots, and jugs, you're going to see a lot of nice curves on the surface, helping you to suggest the three-dimensional form of that shape. And same for the little sugar cup there beside, and drawing the little dish underneath these two thingies. And adding some accentuation on the bottom. And a bit of shine. Quick catching to suggest a metallic surface. Now I'm starting to draw the nice cute details on the teapot, like the measuring numbers. Now I'm starting to draw the loose leaves on the bottom of the pot with quick organic lines, and that's it for the drawing part. Now I'm ready to add watercolors. I think my brunch just arrived. I ordered a set of pancakes with sausages and eggs, starting with the lightest tone. So yellow is the color that I often begin with my watercolor paintings. So yeah, first layer is a very much diluted tone of yellow. And this part of the teapot is a mix of orange and burnt sienna, the golden color of the black tea. Quick second layer wet on wet, orange and burnt sienna. This one contains more ratio of burnt sienna and also less water, to create contrast, and using choppy brushstrokes to suggest the loose tea leaves in there. And punching on very boldly some raw umber or sepia in certain areas to suggest the darkest tone, which is the tea leaves. Now, ready to add the shade color for the yellow teacup, which is a little brownish, reflecting its surroundings, and same for the little yellow dish. I like to mix my own bluish gray for black areas. So for this bluish gray, I mix ultramarine blue with royal purple. I do it in two layers. The second layer is more concentrated paint, leaving some first layer unpainted to suggest the shine of the plastic piece, the handle, and the black ring there. I also added some diluted bluish gray for the yellow teacup, and also the metallic surface of the sugar jar. Now I'm starting to add some vibrant yellow greens for the florals on the creamer jar, very loosely and quickly. and then using the leftover blue purplish gray diluted with a lot of water for the white ceramic exterior, and some shade for the little yellow dish. Shadows for both things. And here's the look of my finished sketch. I also quickly sketched my stack of pancakes, eggs, and sausage very quickly. Here's the look of my finished food and drink sketch. After enjoying my brunch, which is really delicious, I'm ready to sketch the interior view in front of me. So when beginning a cafe sketch, most of the time I like to begin with a customer or the barista. So I'm starting to draw the hat, the hair, and the face underneath with a very simple facial expression in the face. It could be a little cartoony. When I'm drawing people, I don't need to be so realistic. I want to capture the facial expression and then the gesture of that barista or the customer, the shoulder and the elbow area. Most of her body is being covered by the countertop. So that's very much it. She's busily working underneath the countertop, working on something. And then I'm drawing the other barista, a guy a little taller than her, always starting with the hat or the hair. And then, yeah, I think he's also wearing glasses. This is the side view of him. The neck, the collar of the shirt. I'm gonna wait for him to come back to the same gesture because he is really busily serving some customers. It's really busy here at lunch hour. And he's holding tongs and grabbing some bread to pack for a customer. Yeah, so there's a pile of bread in front of him. He's holding the tong to grab one or more. Yeah, very cute gesture for him. And now I am drawing the small thingies around him, the cups, the jugs in the kitchen area. So these things are lower than his eyes, so it's pretty easy to figure out the shape, the size, and the placement. There's the fridge here where they have cold drinks and some stickers on the side of the fridge. So the fridge is the same height as the guy's height. There's a potted plant on top of the fridge. Okay, so now I'm trying to figure out the height of the back wall up to the top of the ceiling in relationship to these two people's heights. Just adding a few more thingies behind them, those machines, and pots and cups in abstract little shapes. Okay, now ready to draw this vertical line. It's kind of like a really thin piece of rectangular prism. Okay, so that's the top of the wall. And the thin area of ceiling on the very top of my page. Yeah, so this wall is actually sinks down. All right, so the height of this interior is now figured out on my page. Now I'm ready to draw more smaller details in between and behind these two baristas. This is probably the espresso machine. And the lovely stacking paper cups on the espresso machine. And for some metallic details or black areas, I just use solid black ink. So there's more weight in this sketch. So on top of the espresso machine, they have other little jars and cups, little pipes. There's like a pot over there beside the espresso machine. The base is metallic. The top is glassy. Right, and now I am trying to figure out the size and the width of the large shelf, taking over most of the back wall area. Yeah, so it's pretty big. It's pretty much all the way to the top of the wall, and yeah, a large rectangular shape, and the big frame. So inside the frame there are 3 vertical rows, and 3 horizontal rows. So I'm just making these divisions very loosely. Okay, so now I am speeding up this process a little bit more to draw the little details inside each cubicle. So I see wine bottles and cute little houseplants with draping veins and leaves, stacking glasses, and also books, another plant with draping veins, and a couple more wine bottles. Yeah, so the next part of the drawing process is all about filling in these blank cubicles. Yeah, with these wine bottles, plants, in very simple shapes. They don't have to look three-dimensional, but I am adding some accentuation in between or on the bottom of each object, so they look like that they have some weight and not just bare shapes. Yeah, so I really love the way that these cafes and restaurants are decorating their back wall with a giant shelf and a lot of nice things in those cubicles, including little pots of plants. It just makes this place more cozy and home-like. And starting to add these brick pattern behind the cubicles. Actually, these are actually hollowed cubicles. Starting to draw this faucet of the sink area. And now I'm just quickly drawing the brick pattern. When I'm drawing a brick wall, I like to start with this long horizontal lines first, and then those short vertical lines for each row. Now I'm drawing the menu, and those letters are so small it's very hard to read the menu here sitting in the back of the room. And just adding some accentuation around the ceiling. There's a little camera, actually a lamp over there, kind of like a little mouse. Drawing the brick pattern using the same technique, the horizontal lines first and then the short vertical lines for each row. That's it for the drawing part. Now I'm ready to paint watercolors. The color scheme is going to be very simple. So I'm beginning with my large tip Holbein brand water brush. It's very juicy, always having water coming down from the handle. So just wetted the wall area with clear water and putting on this diluted cadmium yellow mixed with a little bit of lemon yellow. Most cafes and restaurants, they have this warm and soothing glow from the interior lighting. Yeah, just for everywhere here. In this way, I'm also creating a sense of unity. Everything ties really nicely together with this like underwash. And for the second layer, I'm beginning to add some more concentrated colors like this yellow ochre for the edge of the counter and yellow-green for the little houseplants here and there. Switching to my Deserres brand water brush and using the very tip to fill in those little shapes of leaves. The color of the shelf frame is kind of a vintage green. So I mix a bit of yellow ochre with a lime green. I think the most important key idea about using watercolors is to be really aware of water control. So a lot of times when I see students following along with my demos or tutorials, and when they're using the same brand of watercolors as me, the same color, but they just end up with different results. And I see the issue is because of the water control. And this problem originated from how we interpret what we see and translate what we see into these abstract painting techniques, like how much water to mix into a certain color. Yeah, so these shaded areas of the white tile wall is actually a really diluted black. So I like to mix my own black with blue, green, and magenta or royal purple. And I put a lot of water into the black, so I end up with that medium gray there for the shade color inside those cubicles. Okay, and same for the edge of the wall here vertically. And for the ceiling, it just has a bit of light grayish shade. The interior is warm and cozy, but not every single area has this pure mellow glow. There's always shaded areas. And these tiles are black. And yeah, so this gray is more concentrated gray compared to the shade color inside the cubicles above. So it seems like that I'm using a lot of colors to paint, but the truth is that I'm actually playing with the amount of water. I'm actually a pretty lazy painter and I never clean my palette, just like a lot of watercolor painters. But I like to use the leftover colors and play with water control to get the different tones that I need. Yeah, and I also like to use the leftover colors, such as the leftover red and brown on my palette for those wine bottles. Just saves a lot of time from grabbing those colors from the paint cakes. So these baristas, apparently they're wearing black shirts, but I like to make their outfits more interesting by mixing my own muted colors, like the deep violet and the muted blue. For the skin colors, I mix red and orange and dilute the color with a lot of water to get the skin tone. Adding some final polish, the shadow for the plate. That's very much it for this video. Thank you so much for watching, everyone. If you like it, please click like and leave me a comment below. Subscribe to my channel for weekly updates. I update my channel with 2 to 3 new videos every week. Bye everyone!